good people. She basically got along with everyone in the family, except for Luke. They didn't consider themselves enemies, but for some reason, they were always trying to avoid each other. The only reason she was here tonight was because he had personally issued an invitation. At least some may have considered it an invitation, but she had seen it for what it truly was, a dare. He hadn't expected her to show up, and from the expression on his face, she wasn't sure whether or not he was glad to see her. It was a hot June night in Oklahoma. Everyone had come out to see the rodeo riders perform, and the arena was filled to capacity. As far as she was concerned, all of the riders had nerves of steel and a skill she couldn't help but admire. This wasn't her first rodeo, but it was the first she had attended in a long time. She hadn't been to one since she was 12, and now, in a few months, she would be celebrating her 28th birthday. She held her breath and forced a smile when Luke came to a stop in front of her. "Mac," he remarked, calling her by her nickname. "Luke," was her reply. "Thanks for coming," he said, taking his thumb to push his hat back on his head, and the grin that touched his face almost made her breathless. It showed dimples that usually were kept well hidden. "I didn't think that you would," he added. She had figured as much. "I told you that the next time you were in my neck of the woods, I'd come." "Yes, so you did." She glanced around and saw the group of men he had been talking to earlier were looking at her curiously. Then she saw the women staring too, with both envy and dislike in their eyes. And she knew why. Not only was Luke Madaris a rodeo superstar, he was also a body magnet. He had the ability to draw women to him in droves, and from what she'd heard, he made no promises and preferred no strings-attached flings. But to some women, that didn't matter. "Do you like your seat?" She looked up and met his gaze. His eyes were dark, appeared almost chocolate, and she tried at that moment to forget how she was known to have cravings for chocolate on occasion. "Yes, and thanks." He had reserved a seat for her toward the front. "You were to sit with Blade, but he called earlier today and won't be making it. Something has come up." "All right. When was the last time you talked to Slade?" Another smile touched the corners of Luke's lips. "I talked to him earlier today as well. He and Sky were flying out to visit with her aunt in Maine." "It doesn't seem like they've been married almost a year," she said. "No, it doesn't, but they have. I'm happy for them. They make a great couple." She was happy for them as well. She liked Sky. Mackenzie had known that of the three cousins who were thick as thieves, Slade, Blade, and Luke, it would be Slade who would settle down first. Blade, she figured, wouldn't be settling down anytime soon, since he loved his bachelor status too much. Luke wasn't any closer to settling down than Blade, but for a different reason. Unlike Blade, who enjoyed chasing after women, Luke was chasing after his dream of another national championship. Over the years, he had received numerous awards and had several titles under his belt, but she knew that what he wanted more than anything was to regain the national title he had lost last year.
"Hey, Luke, it's time to shoot up, buddy,"
one of the men called out. "Okay, I'm coming," he called back.
"I guess it's time for me to take my seat," Mackenzie said.
"Yes, I guess it is."
"Hey, Luke, you haven't been doing so hot lately. Maybe you ought to kiss the lady for good luck,"
another man called out. "Go to hell, Bobby Joe," Luke threw over his shoulder. But the look he was giving her made Mackenzie think he was considering the idea. She decided it was definitely time to leave.
"Good luck tonight, Luke,"
she said, and took a step back. "For some reason, I'm not feeling so lucky. Maybe Bobby Joe had the right idea after all," he said, recovering the distance separating them. And before she could utter a single word, he pulled her into his arms and kissed her. This was not a good idea, Luke thought, feeling Mackenzie's mouth open beneath his.